Be the blessing.
Be the value of this time. Dear most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the time we're here and just bless this meeting and the decisions that we make for the betterment of the tribe and guide and lead us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Chuck Huskin Jr.
Here.
Abdul Anglin.
Here.
Jack Baker. Joe Bird.
Amen.
Patty Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis. China Glory Jordan. Lee Keener. Curtis Snell. Kara Cowan Watts.
Ani.
Okay. All right. Ginger, you've passed out to the subcommittee the proposed political contributions. I understand you have one change to make with respect to Shauna Keller. She is, in fact, a Cherokee citizen. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll make a note of that. Shelley, would you make a note of that on your copy? All right. Okay. Entertain a motion to approve, and then we can ask Ginger questions about the list.
I so move, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion to approve the list. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any questions for Ginger on this list? Councilor Crown Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the update on Shauna's citizenship. And I believe the casino is in, Hard Rock is in her district, so I'm glad to see that we're supporting her.
Yes, sir.
So I'm kind of curious, it appears on paper, at least for this round of donations, that it's out of balance, Democrat versus Republican. So where are we at? If this is approved as is, how much money has been given to Democrats and how much money will be given to Republicans?
I didn't bring my full sheet on that, but I can certainly get it and provide that to you.
Yeah, I need to know before we take a vote, because that's always been a consideration of the committee. And I thought it was a concern for the chief's office.
At this time, we are Democrats, and before these were approved, 136,900. On the Republican side, 123,400.
So we're already significant, I mean, not significantly, but we're already lower, and we're going to make it even lower, it looks like. Because there's only $4,000 going to Republicans.
What if you're not getting cooperation?
Councilor Crown Watts, you yield for a question from Councilor Byrd.
Just one incident. I had a student that's still in high school, Mark Mullins, and we have called him, and he's asked, but he hasn't done the paperwork. So I don't know what you do. I mean, I don't know if we keep count of the people that could. Is there any tribal members we're leaving out? I always take preference tribal members. That doesn't guarantee they'll support our cause, though.
I've contacted him at least three times.
And there are others?
As far as tribal members,
Yes.
no, that we haven't given to or that we're not recommending. No.
Thank you, Carol.
Crown Watts, you still have the floor. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate I mean, I think that's an excellent question. I think that is a concern. They have to return the questionnaire so that we understand. I mean, we're investing in their candidacy and want to know how they feel about our issues. So are Republicans just not returning our forms? Is that truly the case? I mean, I understand there's this one example with Mark Wayne Mullins. But
For the most part, yes, ma'am.
Now, I was trying to remember, I think we've seen the questionnaire. Do you have a copy of it really quick?
I don't have a copy of the questionnaire. It was sent to the tribal council about 2 months ago when we began using it. And I don't have a copy of that with me today.
We can locate that and
What you
get
did,
it
Mr. Chairman?
recirculated.
Okay.
So when it says support issues, would you remind me again of what those issues are?
Any issues that we are getting involved in, any Native American issues that we've got involved in as a tribe. And this is overall, mainly as we have passed these before, it has been those who are friendly to us and who we have asked for support on any issues, not only this year, but years past as well.
Is it just should Earl Garrison have an X spot on supporting issues?
Yes, I added him, and I don't think yes.
Shelley, would you note that on your copy, please? Earl Garrison should have an X under the column support issues. Anything further, Councilor Conwatts?
Not right now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Certainly. Councilor Garland?
Being an old-time teacher, I'm concerned about the Republicans. I notice we have 5 here on the list. Do they support common education, or will they ask?
They have been. They have been, but they were not sent the questionnaire. This is just our relationship with them in the past. Gus Blackwell has, if I may go down through here, Gus Blackwell has, I believe last year before last, he came to the holidays, went through our government relations retreat and learned about the Cherokee Nation. And even after that time, he was a supporter of Native American issues. Lee Denny has always been right there with us. Mike Christian, Doug Cox is a member of the Creek Nation. Paul Wesselhoff has always supported us, and I'm not saying that they voted for everything that we asked them to vote for, but they, for the most part, have voted with us.
Some of them are inclined to cut taxes, and therefore it cuts education. And, I want to stay away from that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And if I could comment on that, I would suggest if that was our test, and it wouldn't be a bad test, the disparity between Republicans and Democrats in the state House and Senate would be very large, because it seems to me that the leadership in the House and the Senate basically buy into that line, that we can somehow cut taxes and magically get money for education, but that magic never pans out. Councilor Conwatts?
Thank you. Is Wesselhoff still on the, Citizen Band Potawatomi's council, tribal council? And I didn't realize Al McCaffrey was a tribal citizen. What tribe is he?
I'm not certain. I'll have to look at that. I'm so sorry. I
So-
was thinking he was Choctaw. I'm sorry.
Since our last committee meeting, I can't remember if it was the committee meeting, that one, or the one before, apparently we had approved a trip for Chief Baker to Martha's Vineyard, or the ticket into the event, and I knew nothing about it. Is that what that amount was, $36,800 to the National Democratic Senate Committee, or whatever it is?
I'm not aware of that. I don't know what those funds were used for. I just merely processed the information.
Okay, could you report that back to us in an email? And also, there was a news stories that were done, multiple news stories on a visit with Obama the same week. There was the first visit at Martha Vineyard, which the invitation that we found indicated it was $36,400, and the only thing that it looked like we'd approved was $36,800. I want to say a June PAC committee. I think it was in the last 2 committees we'd met, subcommittees, and then there was one where Attorney General Todd Hembry and Chief Baker had visited with President Obama at a Washington, D.C. hotel that same week after the Saturday Martha's Vineyard deal. And nothing was mentioned in those articles about the price tag for the event, but then later it said it was $60,000 a head, and we sent 2 people. But I couldn't find any indication that we'd approved that and how that happened. And I'd like to understand, because I've had lots of questions from constituents about did we pay, who paid, and how was it funded, and where was it approved?
If I might, I can answer
Okay.
those questions. It was approved for the Democrat committees, 90,000. Let's see, 400, I believe, overall. And here's how they were split up: the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee, 30,800. Democrat committees now on the Obama Victory Fund, 5,000. For the Democrat committees, Democratic National Committee, The DNC, $30,800. For the Democrat committees, the Swing State Victory Fund, $25,800.
25,800. And that was the Swing State Victory Fund?
Yes.
Okay. And that was a total of 90,400 for both the Martha's Vineyard trip and then A.G. Hembry and Chief Baker going to the hotel deal with Obama later.
I have no idea about that. That might be something you want to speak with Chief Baker about. I don't know about this.
So the 90,400 is just to the tribal event later in the week at DC in the hotel.
The amount that was approved on June the 11th was for the Republican committees as well as the Democrat committees. And let me give you a rundown on how much was approved at that time. Sure I have it.
Did we know at the time that these were going to pay for entrance into an event?
It was 92,400. I apologize.
Going forward, I had assumed this, but and I know that you're moving on to real estate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So if whoever your predecessor is, that if we are approving something to attend an event, that it's to pay, we need to know.
I will pass it on to administration.
Okay. Did we know at the time that this was to attend an event? Maybe you didn't?
I did not know.
Okay.
And I don't know that that is the situation.
Okay. And you're going to get back with us on how Martha Vineyard was approved then?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll ask that question.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further questions, Virginia? Counselor Keenan?
I noticed Mr. Hayes, Saw's not on here for some reason.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Hayes, Saw's.
He was approved the last time, once his questionnaire was completed, and he did receive
So he just received one time.
yes. Let me just tell you how much he was approved for, was $2,000.
This coming election, we haven't had any.
No, we do have a balance of $4,000. If you will look on the sheet that I gave you, there is still a balance of $4,700.
Can we add his name to this go around?
About 90, is that?
Can, and I can present it to count to the administration.
I make a motion we add Mr. Hayes for 1,000.
Is that Rick Agent? Rick, I second.
Agent.
I second.
Is that a House candidate?
Yes.
It's Clay County.
And so that we can make sure our paperwork's all filled out here, which party is he?
Democrat.
And how much, Counselor?
1,000.
Okay. We had a motion to approve in a second. Would the friendlies, would the movers simply accept that as a friendly? Chief, would you accept that as a friendly member?
Yeah.
Councilor Fulbright does, so we'll just make that a friendly. Anything further, Councilor Garvin? Councilor Keenan?
Ginger, would you mind sending that breakdown of what you just gave us
Sure.
on that email, please, for all of
Yeah,
us?
sure.
And then whatever else you find out.
Yes, sir, I sure will.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And Councilor Byrd?
Ginger, in the last presidential inauguration, I thought I read where the tribe contributed $50,000 to the inauguration. Is that correct?
To the best of my memory, I'm sorry. To the best of my memory, yes, CNB did. Dirty
Okay.
Nation Businesses.
Now, and it came through the council, and the council approved it.
I really do not recall.
It did not come to the council?
Councilor Byrd, would you yield to Councilor Cottonwood? She may be able to speak.
Sure.
From what I recall, it was reported out that was, and there wasn't a vote, but it was reported out in public meeting that was what was happening. That's what I recall.
Councilor
I don't know if
Byrd,
anybody else remembers.
could you yield with the facts? As
Sure.
I recall, at that time, I don't know if it's still the policy, when CNB would issue a donation that exceeded a certain threshold, we require them to report it within a certain period of time. So it did get, there was some public discussion about it, I think, because it came to the council, but it wasn't in the context of a vote.
So this was this bipartisan? Did we give any to the, this is a Democrat president. Did we give any to the other side at that time?
At that time?
Yes.
Uh,
Well, I mean, we're talking about contributions here. I know you did the
It was
inauguration.
even. Yes, it was
Okay.
even. It was fairly even.
Okay. So have we changed policies now? It comes to the council for approval?
Councilman, in the last few years, we've approved a set amount of money, and in the process, then the administration has made recommendations. And when the subcommittee and the administration are on the same page, the checks are processed. C&B, though, is a kind of a different animal, so to speak, and so they would engage politically. They would budget themselves some money, but we said because of the public interest in them spending money particularly, we wanted to report it to us.
Reported, okay.
And that's how that, it's kind of a separate process.
Okay. Thank you.
And does anyone have any further questions? And before we proceed to a vote, it's probably difficult to gauge, Ginger, but when we're donating politically and then we actually get access to the decision makers to visit with them about our issues, that's a really good thing. It doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
We cut many a check and never hear from them again and don't get invited to visit with them. But when we do, I agree it is good to know, because that means that you hate to say that you get something for your money in politics, but you really can measure that you've gotten something for your dollars when you can sit down with decision makers and talk about our issues. So I agree with the counselor. It would be good to know when that happens, because I see that as a very positive thing.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, we now proceed to vote. All in favor of the proposed contributions as amended, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Roll call.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
John Garvin,
Yes.
China Gloria Jordan,
Pass.
Lee Keener,
No.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts,
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Phil Anglin,
No.
Joe Bird,
Yes.
I just passed.
Yes.
yes. We have 6 yes and 3 no.
The contributions are approved. Any announcements? Okay. Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.